Hi guys! So for today's video I am going to be doing a set that I did in February for Valentine's Day, but I'm gonna make it summer themed. If you remember, or if you've seen my video that I did in February, it was a neon lights Valentine's Day set. The neon lights look was super trendy during around Valentine's Day, and I really liked how that set came out, and I wanted to redo it again, but for summer, and do summer themed neon lights. So I am going to be doing this on my practice hand here. The tips that I have in this hand are the Melody Susie tips that I got from my mystery box. They are just half tips, they're not full cover tips, as you can see, so yeah, I'm just going to be using those. So to start out, I'm just taking my black Model 1's gel polish, and I'm going to paint all of the nails, and then I will cure it for 60 seconds, and then I will do a second layer of the black and cure that for 60 seconds. Okay, so real quick, I just want to point out these little bubbles here on the surface. That is because I didn't prep these tips at all. I didn't rough up the surface or anything, and gel doesn't really stick very well to smooth surfaces. So if you are doing this on yourself, or if you're doing some press-ons like this, you want to make sure you buff or file or something the tops of your tips before going in with your gel polish, or else there will be separation because the gel doesn't want to stick to the tips. But yeah, just make sure you prep your tips before going in with this. I didn't, because I'm being lazy and then just doing this on my practice hand. If I was doing this on myself, then obviously I would have prepped my tips. So I'm just going to go in with my second coat of black here and cure that for 60 seconds. bit of wrinkling on these two fingers or nails. Anyhow, I am going to wipe these down with some alcohol. I use 91% isopropyl alcohol. I do this before I go in with any kind of nail art, just to get rid of that sticky layer that is left behind, because the sticky layer does kind of make whatever you put on top spread a little bit. And I don't go in with a base or a top coat before doing my nail art. I just wipe down the nails with some alcohol and I'm good to go. Okay, so it is actually the next day. I stopped recording after I filmed painting the nails black and everything to go make dinner. Then I ate dinner and watched TV and completely forgot that I was doing this. So here I am the next day finishing up this set. So like I said, I'm going to be doing like summer neon lights. I did do this in February for Valentine's Day. I believe I mentioned that already. So I'm just going to do that again. And I felt like last time I didn't really explain what I was doing very well. So I thought this time around I would try to explain what I'm doing while I'm doing it instead of doing a voiceover after I do it and try and remember everything that I did. So we painted the nails black. I wiped them off with alcohol. And now I'm going to take my palette here, which my palette is actually just a piece of tile that I bought from Home Depot. I saw one time someone saying that instead of buying those like nail palettes you can buy on like Amazon or like different nail supply websites, to just go to Home Depot and get a piece of tile because it's super cheap. Like this tile, if I can, let me see if I can get it all. It's a really big piece of tile here, way bigger than those little palettes you get, and it only cost me $1.08 to buy this. So if you need a palette, go to Home Depot and buy a piece of tile. So what I'm going to do now is just take my white from Nail Reserve. It says white added here on the bottle, but on the website it is called White Reserve. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this and place it down on my palette here. And this is what I'm going to use to draw out my neon light shapes. So I have these liner brushes here. These are some new liner brushes that I just got. I ordered them off of Amazon. They are double-ended brushes, which I'm not really a huge fan of double-ended brushes, but I wanted to get this set because it has a bunch of different sizes, and it has a 30mm liner brush, which I've never seen a liner brush this long before. I know it's a little hard to see how long it actually is. I'll just take that off. Most of the liner brushes, the longest that I've seen is 25mm. And I'm like, this 30mm is going to be great for doing long lines on long nails. So I was really excited about that. But then on the other side here, it has the 5mm. You also get the 20 and a 10, a 15, and an 11. Which one is this one? The 22, and a 9, and a 25, and a 7. So you get a lot of variety here, and there's a lot you can do with these different sizes. Like the longer ones, you can do the straight lines and like your French tips and stuff, and the smaller ones you can do more finer details and everything like that. So I'm not 100% sure how well these work, but they feel very sturdy, like they're like metal, like tube things, or like handles, and they feel very sturdy. So I'm excited about these, and we'll see how well these work in this video or for this nail art. So I'm using the 10. Okay, wait, focus. I'm using the 10mm brush here for this. I feel like it's not too short, but it's also not too long for what I am going to do. I'm just going to start out by drawing the shapes and like the outlines of the neon lights. If you look at neon lights, typically they're all like one connected line. So that's kind of what you want to do there, is have one continuous connected line to create your lights. And if you're not really sure how to go about drawing like a neon light or a neon sign, you can always Google neon lights and like whatever shape you want, or you can just Google neon lights and you can get a bunch of images of neon lights. That's what I did. So off to the side over here on my tablet, I just have a picture pulled up of a neon light of what I'm trying to draw here on this nail. So on this one, I'm going to do a palm tree. So I have a picture of a palm tree neon light on the side, just for reference and to see like how to go about drawing it. So when you are doing nail art, you, especially if you're trying to get fine lines, you want to make sure your brush isn't loaded up like this and has that little like glob of gel at the end. If you have that, you want to just kind of, hold on, let me pull. You want to just like wipe it off until your brush is loaded, but it's with the gel, but it's not pooling there at the end of your brush, so you can get those nice clean lines. So like I said, I'm just going to draw on my palm tree. there's my palm tree outline. I'm just going to go ahead and cure that real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next outline. I'm just gonna do all the outlines first because they will all be in white, and when you get into the colors, I don't want to have to be constantly switching between a bunch of different colors. So I'm just going to do the outline, the white outlines first, and then I'll come back when I'm done and do all the different colors. So for this nail, I am going to do a pineapple. For this nail, I'm going to do a flamingo, and I just want to say for those first line, these outlines that we're doing right now, you don't really have to worry about like if they're perfectly like opaque. They can be a little sparse in some areas because we are going over them. This first line won't really actually be seen in the end, so it's okay if it's a little splotchy and like the color. For this nail, I'm going to do a popsicle. finally, for the thumb, I'm going to draw on some cherries. I know I'm not like really talking or explaining while I'm drawing out these shapes. I can't really paint and talk at the same time, so you're just gonna have to watch and hopefully see what I'm doing and it makes sense, instead of me trying to explain how I'm drawing everything, because like I said, I can't talk while I'm doing this. So now for the part that I feel like in my last video, I felt like I didn't explain very well, is adding the color part. So for this, since I'm doing multiple different colors, I'm just going to do one color at a time instead of just doing one nail at a time. Again, so I'm not constantly going back and forth and switching between colors. So on my palette here, I'm going to start with the green. So this will be the leaves of the palm tree and the leaves of the pineapple, along with the stems of the cherries. I'm taking electric green from Nail Reserve, and I'm just going to place some of this down onto my palette. I want to place enough down because we are going to be mixing some clear into this in a little bit. So I want to make sure I have enough of the green down before I do that. So I can have enough to color what I need to color now and then mix later. If you wanted to, you could mix in like some glow pigment powders into your color. I did that last time, or if you have glow-in-the-dark polish, then you can use your glow-in-the-dark polish. I don't have glow-in-the-dark polish, so I can't do that, and I don't really want to mix glow powder into these this time, just because I am going to be doing several different colors. Last time I only did one color, I did blue, so it was a little bit easier for me to just put the blue glow powder into the blue gel polish and just go with it. But since I have multiple different colors, I kind of don't feel like mixing a bunch of stuff together. So you're just going to go over your outlines here with the colors that you need. So starting with the palm tree, I am just going to go over. I'm going right over those lines, because remember, like I said, we were covering them up anyhow, so it didn't really matter like the color evenness for those. But because I was using Nail Reserve, they did come out pretty opaque and even all over. And real quick, I will have everything linked down below in the description. I also have discount codes for Nail Reserve and Madam Glam, which I will also leave in the description if you are interested in purchasing anything from them. Just realized I'm talking while I'm going over these lines, and I said earlier how I can't talk while I'm drawing it out, but that's just what I'm doing. Like if I'm going over it like I am now, I'm fine to talk because I don't really have to think about what I'm doing. I just have to trace the lines. Whereas when I'm first drawing it out, I have to focus and be pretty specific on what I'm doing. And if I'm talking while doing that, I will mess up, and yeah. Okay, so like I said, we are going to be mixing in some clear. This is how you get that neon light, like glow effect. So what we're going to do is take a little bit, I'm taking this top coat and I'm just going to mix a little bit of that in. That was more than what I wanted. I'm gonna have to add more green to this. Actually, I'd be fine. No, I'm gonna add some more green. That was a bit more than what I wanted. It'd honestly probably be fine, but I'm just mixing this up with a dotting tool. I don't like mixing with my brushes. I feel like they get messed up that way. So I just use a dotting tool. It's one of those super teeny tiny, like fine needle dotting tools. It's my go-to mixer. Okay, we should be good with that. So you just want to add a little bit of top coat You could do base coat too, I guess. Just something clear to thin out your color so it's not opaque. And then you are going to take that color there that you mixed up, and you're just going to go right on the outside of what you first did. And you want to do this on both sides of the outline. So you want to do it on the outside of your outline and the inside too. Because if you look at a neon light, the light disperses on either side of the little tube, light bulb tube thing. And it is perfectly fine if you go over the first green line you did. It's not really gonna make a difference. If anything, it'll just make it a little bit darker, which is fine. Because the first outline you did there with your color is the like light bulb, you know? So the light bulb is going to be, you know, where the color is like mostly concentrated at. So if it is a little bit darker, that's perfectly fine. Also here you're gonna see me have like, you know, the little glob there at the end. I know earlier I said when you're doing nail art you don't want that. You don't want that when you're doing like fine lines and like you need the lines to be uniform and even. But if you're going in and filling in something, or like in this case, doing kind of like a messy outline, if you will, it doesn't really matter. It actually helps a little bit to fill in that space a bit quicker. So you're fine to have that little glob then, but for the outlining that we were doing, you don't want that glob. So yeah, and you can already kind of see that like light glow effect going on a little bit there, because you do have the darker outline with the dispersed color there on the either side. So you just want to do that for the rest of your lights. And you want to be making sure you're curing each layer that you do, so when you move on to the next layer, they don't all run into each other and mess up what you're doing. So you're just going to take your already diluted color that you have, and you're going to add in some more top coat to dilute it even more and make it even more sheer, jelly, translucent, whatever you want to call it. This will make it so there's even less of the color being added onto your design there. So you just want to do the same thing and go around the outline on both sides. And you want to go on the outside of the first like glow area you did. But again, if you go over it, it's not really going to make that much of a difference. It might make it a little bit darker, but because you have twice as much clear in it now, it's not really going to do much. It's just going to add a little bit of color, like the slightest amount, just to kind of soften that glow there on the edge, because you know, if you look at neon lights, they do eventually fade out. They don't continue glowing for, you know, miles and miles and miles. It's just kind of centered there on the light. So that's what this is doing. I think on camera it probably looks like I'm just adding clear, like a top coat or base coat or something onto the nail, and there's like no color being added whatsoever. In person you can definitely see it a lot more. It is very subtle though, but you can definitely tell it's there. And that is how you get the neon light glow effect there. As you can see, they do have that like glowing effect. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish out the rest of these ones, and then once I'm done with that, I'll go over again with the white. I'll show you and explain that when I get there. But yeah, I'm gonna just do the rest of the colors here real quick, and I'm just gonna let that play out for you guys. because this top part is, the top part of this popsicle is white, I'm just going to do the glow outline part of it. I'm not going to go over it again with the white gel polish. Okay, so now that we have all the glow effect going on, we're just going to go back over the outlines here with the white gel polish. You want to make it thin and go right in the middle of that original outline you made. When I was doing this popsicle nail, I was just following my reference picture. It's pink and white, so I wasn't really thinking about the colors and how this is gonna work with the white on the nail here. So we're gonna find out if it, gives the same effect or not, because I haven't tried it with white. I don't know if it's gonna, give the same effect or not, but we'll see. And for this outline, I am going in with the 15mm brush. I feel like with the longer the brush, the thinner line I can get, and you don't really want this white line you're doing now to be super thick. You want it to be thin and just right in the middle of it all, because this is going to be like the bulb itself, kind of. To see, you just want a really thin line there in the middle, right over that original outline we did. like that. It gives it more of that neon light glow effect. If you wanted to, you could take your diluted color mixture and go over if you feel like some spots of the white are too bright. I'm not going to do that, but if you wanted to kind of tone down some of those bright white spots, you could. I feel like it looks fine like this. It still looks like the light glowing in the color that you have down. So I'm going to go ahead and do this to the rest of these nails. So I've decided that some of the white on these cherries here is a little too bright. So I'm just taking some of that red mixed with the clear that I have and just going over it just a little bit to kind of tone it down some, just so it's not so bright. I feel like it's too much. Just want to tone it down a little bit. I feel like that's a whole lot better. Like, you can still see the white there, but it's not as bright. Okay, so now that all of that is done, it is time to top coat. So with these neon light designs, along with any design, you can choose to decide if you want to top it with matte top coat, or if you want to do a shiny top coat. I know around Valentine's Day a lot of people were doing this neon light design and topping it with matte top coat. When I did it, I tried it out with the matte top coat, but I personally didn't like how that looked, because I felt like instead of all the different layers being blended together and looking seamless, I felt like the matte top coat, you could see the different layers and like where one started and the other ended. But I'm going to go ahead and top coat with matte and shiny, just so you can kind of see what the differences look like. So here's what they look like, matte versus shiny. So see what I kind of mean here about how like the shiny, it still all looks very blended, and it like evenly or smoothly transitions through the 3 different layers of color here, whereas I feel like on the matte it's very obvious. Like, you have the one layer of the solid, and then you have the next layer here with the mixed with the clear, and then it goes out into the next layer there with even more clear. I just feel like it's not as smooth of a transition between the 3 layers with the matte top coat. So I do prefer this design with a shiny top coat. So here are the cherries top coated. Let me try and zoom out here. See if you can see them all together. Okay, not the thumbnail. But yeah, this is how they look. I really love this type of design here with the neon light effect. I think it is so cool. And there's so many different things you can do with it. You could do this for any holiday. Like, it was really popular for Valentine's Day. You could do it here for summer, like I did. You could do Halloween, Christmas, Easter, New Year's, your birthday. I just really think this is a very diverse design you can do, and there's a whole lot you can do with it. It's honestly one of my favorite designs here to do now. I mean, I've only done it twice now, Valentine's and now here with summer, but I have so many ideas in my head of different neon light designs that I could do. And with these, you could make your little lights as big or as small as you want. You can, if you make them smaller, you could fit multiple ones on there. I know for Valentine's Day, I did hearts on one of the nails, and I was able to fit like 2 hearts on the nail, I think. Like I said, there's a whole lot you can do with this. And if you want to do it shiny, you can do it shiny. If you want to do it matte, you can do it matte. The only thing I would say is probably don't do white for your color lights. Make sure it's a different color. Also, probably don't do black either, because that would just blend into the background. So any other color, do that. I just feel like with the white, it doesn't really give the same effect as it does on these colors, because you don't get, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just feel like it doesn't look as effective. Like the effect isn't as noticeable with it. I mean, it's noticeable, but I feel like it's what really brings it all together is this last line of white you do at the end, and you can't really do that with white. Like white on white, you can't really see that and tell if you were to do that. So that's the only recommendation that I would have, is to not do white or black, obviously, because you're not going to see it on the black background. And they are a little bit tedious with the different layers you got to do and everything, but really, when they look like this at the end, I feel like it's worth it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. I also hope this made more sense than my last video. I feel like my last video, it didn't 100% make sense what I was saying, because I filmed it and then did the voiceover later and had to like watch what I was doing in the video and like kind of go back in time and try and remember what exactly I did. I feel like I might have explained things a little bit better since I was doing it, or explaining it as I was doing it. So hopefully, if that last video was a little confusing, this one was a little bit better. So yeah, thank you again so much for watching. I really appreciate it.